Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Bascom, Chair of the Public Library Foundation's Board of Directors. My wife Jamie and I are pleased to welcome you here to the Library Foundation's 32nd Literary Feast. Along with Library Director, the Library Foundation's Executive Director, and our Literary Feast co-chairs, we're here in downtown Fort Lauderdale's main library, which until mid-March was bustling with activity every day. It's good to be back.
Yes, it is good to be back. And you know, in this COVID-19 era, our event may not look like the past feast that many of us have attended over the years and that we love so much. But as the co-chair of the Literary Feast 2020, I do believe that its essence, which is to connect fascinating authors with interested book lovers, is exactly the same and will be just as wonderful. Tonight, 8 authors who live all over the country will provide us with amazing insights into their work. But before that, I'd like to introduce you and for you to meet Nicole Hanukkah, who serves with me as the Literary Feast co-chair.
Thank you all for being here. Tonight's event wouldn't be possible without your generosity and that of all of our sponsors. I'd like to say a special thanks to our presenting sponsors, the Helen Ingham Foundation and the Holler Foundation. Both the Ingham family and Linda Holler have been so supportive as we pivoted to this virtual event. I also want to recognize our honorary chair, Senator George Lemieux, who is a former Literary Feast author himself. Your support and that of our sponsors are making possible so many vital literacy programs in the library. Let's take a moment to highlight some of these programs.
Good evening. Just before the Broward County Library System closed its doors in March due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we heard some very good news. The Florida Library Association had chosen Broward County Library as the 2020 Florida Library of the Year. This award recognizes a Florida library that has demonstrated outstanding service to the community. We're proud of that recognition and have worked hard to expand services both inside the libraries as well as the buses, parks, businesses, and even the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. Things are different now, of course, and will be for some time to come. But just because the doors are shut, it doesn't mean that our work on behalf of the Broward citizens has come to a halt. It's simply being offered in a non-traditional way. We've looked to technology to connect us to our customers using Facebook Live, YouTube, and WebEx. Librarians have provided story times, book clubs, and financial workshops. Thousands of children participated in the virtual summer learning program. I expect that all of our programs will be offered virtually through the end of this year. I hope you're using the library's wealth of online resources, everything from books and magazines to movies, as well as picking up reserved books through the curbside delivery service at each library branch. Thank you for supporting the library and the Library Foundation this evening. Please meet Library Foundation Executive Director, Dorothy Klein.
In just a few moments, we'll meet the Literary Feast authors. We are thrilled to have these special people with us. sharing stories about their books and their careers. Each had agreed to attend the originally scheduled Literary Feast weekend in April. We're grateful to them and glad that you now have the opportunity to spend time with them. Our honorary chair this year is Senator George Lemieux, who was a Literary Feast author in 2019 with his nonfiction book, Florida Made. Tonight, he is with us from his office at the Gunster Law Firm.
Hi, my name is George Lemieux, and I have the privilege of being the honorary chair of this year's Literary Feast. What an extraordinary time for us to come together, and what a different way for us to come together to celebrate the Broward Library Foundation, which has been doing tremendous work for our whole library system since 1982. I want to congratulate Tim Bascom and the entire 20-person foundation board for the work that they've done over the years that allowed millions of dollars to be raised for the betterment of our Broward County library system. It occurs to me sitting here with you in 2020 as we celebrate our literary feast that an extraordinary time is underway of difficulty and challenge. The pandemic has claimed many lives. It has hurt our families. What it's done to our economy and our ability to provide for our families has been challenged and will continue to be. But I also think that a silver lining out of all of this might be the great literary work that emerges from this difficult time. Just thinking back to the time after World War I and the wonderful writers like Hemingway and T.S. Eliot and Ezra Pound, who wrote in that greatest and lost generation of the difficulties of their time. Thinking about James Baldwin, whose works during the civil rights era inspired leaders to do something about the inequities in our society, and even Edgar Allan Poe, who faced such difficulties in his life, losing his mother and his wife to tuberculosis, and how that difficult challenge created great literature. So maybe and perhaps the silver lining of all of this is that this pandemic will create some new future great literary works. And I know that we're all going to enjoy in our breakout sessions here some great modern literary work that's been created in the past few years. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your support of the Broward County Library Foundation, and please enjoy this literary feast.
If you've attended Literary Feast in prior years, you know how important the silent auction is to the success of our fundraising event. Even though so much has changed, the auction tradition continues. Please take a look at the highlighted trips and other treasures that we are bringing you. Now it's time to move into the breakout rooms to meet your room hosts and your authors. Thank you again to everyone who made Literary Feast possible tonight. Enjoy the evening.